regular meeting, June 17, 2014, to order. Please stand and join us with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you and welcome. Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey? Here. Pam Griner? Here. Brenda Cagle? Here. Val Reagan?
Here.
Julie True?
Here.
Judy Straub?
Present. And at this time, I would like to ask Julie True to say a word, please.
I would like to just take a moment of silence in memory of Lori Shoemaker. She did graduate from Parkview in 1995. She was also an East Peoria graduate of 1999. I don't know if it affected anybody here or not, but she was pretty close with my niece. So anyway, I'd like to take a moment of silence to remember her. Thank you.
First on the agenda is student focus. Awesomeness and focus, except our school's not in session.
However, I do think we have some students in the audience. Was that correct? I thought I saw some Boy Scouts. Oh, geez, they're over there. I'm sorry, I'm looking over here, guys. Why don't you stand up and introduce yourselves to the Board of Education and let us know why you're here.
I'm Lawson. I'm good. And we're from 242. We're here to complete one of our prerequisites for a merit badge we're going to get.
Which badge? Oh, I'm sorry. Which badge was that, guys?
Communications.
Communications. Outstanding. Well, we hope you learn a lot tonight.
We are moving on to results driven. Principal's awesome results.
All right. We'll start with Parkview School, and I will let Mr. Jokish take over because he's got some really great things to tell us about tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. First off, today and tomorrow I'll be at a conference in Springfield, and one of the things that it's focusing on is all the new initiatives in education. And when you think about it, there's a whole lot of change going on. Starting next year, there's no more AYP, there's no more adequate yearly progress. That's gone. ISAT testing, that's going to be gone, replaced by PARC testing. NCLB, No Child Left Behind, that's gone. So there's a lot of major changes going on in education right now, with an emphasis on doing a better job of making students more college and career ready, and that's the focus. And we hope to accomplish this by making students better thinkers. It's become more about what students can do with knowledge as opposed to how much do they know. Because with the internet and things like that, you can find out things very quickly. So it's more about, we have the knowledge there. It's more about what students can do with that knowledge that becomes an emphasis. And part of that in helping students become better thinkers is strong skills in reading and math. Also, there's an emphasis on student growth, how much they've accomplished. So I'm very proud of our Parkview teachers who their students demonstrated above average growth in both reading and math. I put this chart, I gave you this chart here. Basically what we do is we take the MAP test 3 times a year. So we look at this is broken down by each grade level for reading and math. and basically what the fall mean RIT score was for reading and math, and then we compare that with the spring reading and math score. We look at basically what the math designers say is normal growth. For this age level, what's normal growth? Like in first grade, you're going to see a lot more growth because they're learning to read, so the expansion is just huge. And based on normal growth, and that the column there on the far right is what I'm most interested in, is how did we do above average? And we weren't below average at all, which is excellent. Basically a 0 score would be perfect, but we were above average in every category, particularly in 7th grade math was plus 8.1 points above average. That was the top score. 5th grade reading was plus 5.8 above average. 6th grade reading was plus 4.8 above average. So it's not just that our students are demonstrating growth, but it's above average growth. So thanks to all the Parkview teachers and also our students for their excellent work this year and all they accomplished in making those positive gains. I also wanted to mention that we were recognized as a PBIS silver level school. This is something that we had not achieved before. And just for our work that's with our Warrior Way program, everything that we're doing with that. And I just want to thank our Warrior Way team, which is Paul Nettles is the head of that, but also Miss Conway, Miss Thatcher, Miss Beal, Mrs. Ritchie, Mr. Grice, Becky Barton. They all volunteer their time. Usually these meetings are held after school in their own time. It's not something that they have to do. It's something that they volunteer to do, to work on helping kids become more responsible, more respectful, and safe. So congratulations to all of them, and we're going to continue to build on that. And then just the final thing I had to say was we have our summer salt camp starting this Monday. That's from 9 to 12 on Mondays and Thursdays for roughly the next 3 weeks. And that's just with an emphasis on keeping kids active and engaged during the summer months. So I'll be sitting down to learn now for that, and I hope we have a big turnout. That's open to all Parkview students who are entering 6th, 7th, and 8th grades. So thank you very much.
Thank you. At LaSalle, and we are fortunate to have Mr. McCormick, who will be starting at the end of July to take over the leadership of LaSalle School District, or LaSalle School, elementary school. Right now, a lot of cleaning going on, a lot of desks being moved, and all of that. So we see a lot of good results coming out of our maintenance and custodial crews, so we want to thank them for all of that. So that's what we have for LaSalle. Okay. E2, superintendent's results. Maintenance grant work progress. The grant work that we have approved at our last board meeting been scheduled. So we have asbestos that will be starting, and doors and bathrooms and electrical work and all of those that will be starting here near the end of the month. And so we've gotten all of that together and moving forward. So we'll start seeing some of those things progressing along. If you drove past LaSalle in the last week or so, you've seen that the construction crew has been out there putting in the concrete for the bus turnaround, so that we don't have that gigantic crumbling sinkhole for the buses going in and out of LaSalle. It's now going to be a nice smooth concrete pavement for them to make their turns on. So that's going to be a plus for our bus drivers as they pick up and drop off our students at LaSalle. The maintenance projects and the 10-year life survey, there are overlapping items. So what we're going to do is once we have the completed work from the maintenance grant, well, we're going to undergo a thorough inspection to go through and make sure that we're covering all of the items and survey, make sure we have completed it totally, and it seems as if we will have this last maintenance push will be taking care of almost everything, but I want to make sure that the things are up to standard, and then we'll wait 2 years and have our next 10-year life safety survey again. So luckily they're only done every 10 years. Otherwise we'd be working and never getting anything done except construction projects. So.
Do we know how much money is?
What's that?
Do we know how much money we're going to have to return? It's brand yet?
No. At this point, it is all submitted to the State Board of Education. I've had conversations with Ms. Beachy, Kim Beachy, who's the grant supervisor for all of that, and we went through pretty much line by line what was submitted, and between her and the director of the grants, they'll be going through it and make sure we've got everything lined up and in the right orders. So I'm hoping it's not much, but let's see. We'll just have to see. So, okay. Next is Teacher Evaluation Committee progress. Teacher Evaluation Committee, we met on May 23rd, and we just were looking to see what our status was with the evaluation instrument with the certified staff. Committee members are myself, Mr. Jokish, Mr. Nettles, Ms. Bonholtz, Ms. Starman, and Ms. Crowder. We determined that there were some minor revisions that were needed, and members were surveyed, actually staff was surveyed by committee members to get some input on if things needed revisions or changes or anything. They didn't receive any kind of feedback from the survey that indicated any necessary for any large changes. So we just are going to move forward, and we will have that done. Members will provide comments by July 10th, and we'll have finalization, and then we'll determine what process we need to take next, and collaborate with the presentation at the Teachers Institute with the IEA, NEA representatives. We're going to have part of our Institute time to go over the instrument and how it's been used in the past and how we're going to use it going forward. Parkview teachers have been involved in the using this instrument before. So it's a little more familiar to them than the LaSalle staff. So we're just going to make sure that everybody's moving along, has the information, and we can answer as many questions as we can. I think it's inviting the union representatives in to help with the presentation, kind of lends a little more comfort level, I would hope, to certified staff. So we'll be undertaking that process as well.
Further information leading to our results.
Sure. Information leading to awesome results. Technology proposals. What you have here is a set of 3 technology proposals from different companies, and I have them in there in a small, just a small presentation as to the contracts. What I would recommend and hope that the board would consider is to schedule interviews at our committee of the whole meeting July 1st, if we're going to have that meeting, and schedule interviews with these companies. Come in and hear about their services, have time for questions and answers, make sure that everybody's ready and willing to enter into contract with one of the 3 companies, because June 30th, our current contract does expire. So we need to move it forward and get the board ready for a either continuing the contract that we have or one of the other 3 vendors. So, or 2 vendors. Okay. On July 1st is our scheduled committee of the whole meeting, but in previous years or in the past, we've had, you have scheduled or canceled some of those meetings in July, or the committee of the whole meeting in July. And so I guess it just needs to be determined how you want to proceed with your July meeting.
They're on 5 Tuesdays. To move it because of the holiday coming up, but of course the holiday is 3 days away from it. Unless people are out of town, traveling out of town. Any comments?
I'm fine with July 1st.
We've got a contract expiring June 30th. I would say we best meet.
Is he going to service us until we decide?
The only thing they're doing right now is the summer, summer refurbishing, reconditioning, moving the machines around, cleaning, those kind of things. There isn't real heavy use in the district since we don't have students around. So I think we'll be okay. And if there is any kind of an emergency, obviously we'll engage him on an emergency basis to go in and fix whatever might need to be done.
Well, since the contract with the vendor.
Okay, well, because we need to check schedules, we'll go as proceeded unless we get notice that we need to schedule it for a different date as a special meeting.
Do a different date, you said?
We have to check schedules on a couple people.
Well, I mean, it's already, it's already a board member.
She said we have to go with that.
Did you speak up? We can't hear what you're saying.
It's already a board meeting, so I just assumed we would all know that we already have to.
Unless I send you notice that we will switch it to a different time than the special meeting.
Then we'd all
And we
have
have
to
to
agree on a
post it.
different time in a special meeting.
Yes, yes.
It should be fine. I mean, it's a regular schedule.
Can you speak up? We can't hear it. Cause no problem.
All right, they'll probably
Jokish,
turn the air off.
can you, yeah, thank you. You're on.
Okay.
Here.
So, are we wanting to bring in these 3 companies for that meeting?
What's your recommendation, Mr. Aldrich? I feel like I'm yelling. Right?
Yeah, no, right. What is my recommendation? Well, if I were to, no. My recommendation is for the Board of Education to interview these 3 companies to determine which one it would like to enter into a technical or technology information contract with. All right. You have the proposals before you. You can see the numbers. I'm okay with any of the 3. I have preferences, but I don't know that that matters. It matters as to what the Board of Education wants to do and which company it would want to be involved with. So I'm just I'm here to bring you the information.
And I believe probably most of you have made comments along the way of those, wanting to know more information from them doing interviews. So, is anybody against having them come? I'll assume everybody's for it. Okay, thank you.
Are these technology groups that you guys have coming in, are they to replace the?
I'm sorry, this isn't the time for public participation. All right. So,
Medical insurance, information leading to awesome results. I would like to ask the board to direct the superintendent to convene a medical insurance committee during September 2015 school year, sometime during that month, for the purpose of investigating the economic aspects of continued self-insurance versus contracted insurance for medical and dental services. In my conversations with our insurance agent, Keith Crony from Crossroads Insurance, who is our agent, and with Ron Jones, who is the president of Mutual Medical. In talking with them, the best time for these type of investigations is when you're on the positive side of healthcare. And for the past number of years, you've been on the positive side of your healthcare costs. And now is the time to do that, rather than wait down the road, be in difficulties, and then try to investigate, because then you have a negative history coming with you, and that baggage follows you along, and it will affect whatever rates of premiums you may have. Now, this is a recommendation, and there's nothing wrong with the current health insurance. There's nothing wrong with the way, while I think we could use some better internal procedures, I don't think there's any problems with the way things are going with your health insurance, your medical insurance. But if the board is looking at economics and trying to determine, best practices for the school district, it's something that is an area of investigation. But like many other things, investigation doesn't mean decisions. Investigation means trying to determine what is best for this school district, and what's best for this school district is, your students. So it's investigation. It is looking to see if there is any advantage to going with a company, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Health, whoever, whatever. You've done this investigations in the past, so this isn't a new process for anyone here. But now's the time really to look at that, especially with the changes in January with the Affordable Health Care Act and those things that are happening with the universe of health care. Now's the time to see if this would be a positive move for this school district. It's not recommending not recommending anything other than investigation, not talking about changing anyone's benefits, not talking about changing thing one to the actual plan that you have right now. It's an investigation. The current health plan is written into the collective bargaining agreement. All right, that's a fact of life. But if there is an advantage to be seen for the school district, there are things that can be done to make those changes. Doesn't mean that the board is going to agree to it, doesn't mean anything like that. I'm just asking the Board of Education to consider having the insurance committee, which is made up of board members, teachers, is it all certified staff? I don't remember who's all on the committee, the makeup of the committee, but all of the stakeholders are represented on the committee. So information would be gathered and shared, and the committee can make a recommendation, which may be nothing. And that's fine, but I think it's fiscally prudent to look at these things at a time when it makes sense to look at. Okay? So that's all I'm asking the Board of Education to do, is to give the insurance committee the task of looking at other health insurance options.
How long has it been currently self-funded?
How long have we been self-funded? Forever. I don't know.
Well, and now is a good time to look, because it could be a benefit, or it could be great just the way that it is, so.
I think we looked maybe 4 years ago.
I believe that's correct. It was 4 or 5 years ago.
So much has changed in that time period.
Our costs was so elevated because we had a lot of claims, so that we were at risk. It would
But
cost
now,
more to
but
be-
now, I mean, it's okay every 4 or 5 years to reinvestigate that, just to see where we're at. The same,
Very time consuming.
same also as the other portion, but, you know, 4 years ago was a lot of things have changed.
Well, and it's the same, the staff premium cost as well.
Well, to say the district, it could say, you know, the people, money, and maybe.
You guys need to speak up because I know they can't hear you back there.
Well, the state's premium cost would still give the same benefits, or just as good as benefits. It would be great for the staff and for the district.
And
So
we
there's
don't
nothing
have
wrong
that
with looking into
information
it.
to go on, but do we have, we have the ability to ask him, yes, let's investigate. That's what we're asking. Everybody.
Well, we're not
Nod
physically
on
doing all the
that.
legwork anyway, it'll be.
Right, right.
Those other people.
I got nods, so I believe we can go on. Yes, would you please do that?
All right, so I'm taking this as a directive from the board to move forward with investigation of medical and dental insurance, and charging the committee with undertaking that task. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Set up, schedule meeting. Okay.
We'll move on to the consent agenda. Need a motion, well, before we get a motion. Okay. It's been brought to our attention that Parkview School has a $14 error. It looks like from one column to another column. So we'll ask to pull that for tonight until we get the records corrected and resubmitted for us. Small thing, just raw column. Okay, having said that, we'll pull that. So if somebody will make the motion for the consent agenda.
Make the motion to approve the consent agenda minus the Parkview Activity School Report.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion, board?
That $14 is out of 2 columns.
Right, just the one, right? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Linda Bailey.
Aye.
Pam Griner.
Aye.
Brenda Cagle. Aye. Val Reagan. Aye. Julie True.
Aye.
Judy Strong.
Yes, thank you. Motion carried. Action items. We need a motion, please, for G1.
I make a motion to approve the ad hoc committee report and expenditures as listed in the report.
Second. Discussion?
We need to read some of this. We went through this and didn't change, right? Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. Just resolution to it.
Now, if you remember, last month, the board, the resolution, as written, the Board of Education was to accept the ad hoc committee's report and then wait 30 days to determine whether or not more information was needed. If there are questions that board members may have had, they had 30 days within which to do that. I have not received any information or any requests or comments from board members, nor from anyone else. So it's now to the Board of Education to vote to accept the report. It's the same report as written that was presented the first time.
And this is returning the funds back to each parent club between LaSalle School and Parkview School to resolve that issue. So they did a great job between the two different committees that we met with, and mainly they've decided to spend the money on books for the kids, so they did a great job.
And we want to thank Mrs. Griner and Mrs. Cagle for heading that up for us. Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Julie True?
Aye.
Judy Strong?
Yes. Motion carried. On G2, we need a motion, please.
Make the motion to approve the 2014-2015 school year textbook order as presented.
Second.
Discussion?
This is your normal practice. Your textbook orders, material supplies for the upcoming school year. And as it is presented, the estimated total is $13,893.33. But as you can see, some of the shipping and handling, and it is an estimated cost, so I was more prudent and didn't put an actual amount into the motion and just put it as presented.
And these are consumable supplies, correct? We replace these every year.
Yes, ma'am. Scholastic magazines. I'm not sure what PearsonSchool.com miscellaneous might be, but it's all things that teachers have listed out, and we have the actual order forms. Ms. Cornwell has those, and so everything will be moved along and taken care of.
A few of them be replacement textbooks. It looks like science there could possibly, because I don't think they have textbooks to notebooks of any sort. So it could be replacement books. Am I right?
I'm not sure, Mrs. Strong, to tell you the truth, whether or not these are actual hard books or not. Harcourt School Publishers, K-5 Math, Social Studies, handwriting paper, handwriting chameleon, seem to be mostly workbooks, but there may be hard books in here. I can find out most definitely and let the board know which ones are and are not hard books.
Any other communications on that? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Julie True?
Aye.
Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
G3, need a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve the district liability insurance premium renewal for the fiscal year 2014. Second. Do we need a dollar amount in that?
Necessary.
As presented or something? It would be the $149,980, correct? I make a motion to approve the district liability insurance premium renewal in the amount of $149,980 for the fiscal year of 2014. I will re-second that motion.
Discussion.
I
Not
am
over $10,000.
absolutely stunned and continue to be very much taken back that our modifier for our work comp has gone from last year at a 1.37 up to this year at a 1.56, and that's not counting the claims that we have that will be paid out this year. And I don't know that everybody understands what happens if we go to where we're going to be uninsured and go into the pool. What happens is that to go into the insurance pool, the premiums are 30% higher than what we're paying now on rate. And then on top of that, your modifier goes on top of that. So let's say that the premium for your work comp is, let's say, $50,000 before you add in your calculation. And then it's 30% higher. And then on top of that, let's say our mod goes up to a 2%, or 2 point whatever, 2.12. It is going to be astronomical, and we need to do something to make this a safe place for our employees to work, that they're held accountable for their safe practices, because we are not going to be able to afford $10,000 more on our work comp is nothing compared to what it's going to do if we continue to have claims like that. So I'm very concerned. Coming from an insurance background, I'm very, very, very concerned. So it's going to get to the point where I'm really surprised that Liberty, our carrier, has actually decided to continue to stay on the work comp. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mrs. Cagle. Most of us have no real direct contact with insurance, so any other comments?
The only thing I can say to speak to Ms. Cagle, excuse me, is I think one of the reasons Liberty Mutual hasn't, or they haven't dropped us already, is that your insurance agent, Mr. Booth, from Upton Insurance Agency, has worked extremely hard to keep the school district in good standing with Liberty Mutual. He has done that. And then the fact that we have last year and last school year and continuing on have made a concerted effort to address the problem, such as having the loss management or the risk loss management individual from Liberty come down and do the presentations at the board, or I'm sorry, at the Start of School Institute. Those kind of things. We are trying to keep make a good faith effort for Liberty so that we don't lose any more standing than we already have, because we do have outstanding claims that will be, if not this year, next year. Those things take time, but we need to be prepared for that, and just to be aware.
Well, what happens is that with, just for the crowd, what happens is that you have 3 years worth of modification that goes into your work comp figures, and that you have 3 years of results. So you could have, your oldest year could be a horrible year, and if that falls off, and you have a good year that comes on, well, that's great. But if you have a good year that falls off, followed by you have 3 horrible years, well, you have 3 horrible years that are tagging you. So it's not good. The trend from what I can see is not good, and it's a little scary to see it go from a 137 to a 156, and risk control or loss control, whatever you want to call it, has to be taken into consideration and taken very seriously. And whether it's slip and falls, on the rugs, or getting in and out of your desk or whatever, it's a part of everyone. Everyone has to be aware of that, from kids' liability on the liability side to teachers to whoever's working. So, I don't know, I'm just very concerned about it because I don't see that it's gonna trend any better from the information that I can see, so.
Well,
I'm
last year,
just
Mr.
concerned
Alders
about
did
it.
implement the safety in service. And maybe that's what we need to look at. What can we do to help bring this down? So maybe the safety in service is the way to go, but maybe we just need to do more. Let's just talk about it as a board and think, what can we do?
Right.
And what other institutions do to implement safety and how they get a safety record where there's no falls, no problems over
Exactly.
12 months or a year. Let's start looking at that.
Well, and honestly, Val, that's, Mrs. Reagan, that's one of the reasons why I thought, you know what, instead of just being quiet about it, because the last time we talked about it, that I was present, was when we had that safety meeting here in this room. And I thought, you know, this is gonna go out on Creve Coeur Cares, so I thought, you know what, let's just bring it up, because, my gosh, I think that people need to know that the percentage that I told you a few minutes ago is accurate. That's from the NCCI, which controls the modifier, and that's a true figure that I just squirted out to you. So it's concerning.
Right, so let's see what we could do.
Yeah. So we need to figure out that that's something going forward. You know, as we renew, because that's what, July 1st. So as we renew, we need to figure out how do we get this thing under control to where we can maybe have a loss-free or somewhat of a loss-free year.
Incentives, or whatever it takes.
And work comp is there to pay for injuries. I mean, that's what it's there for, you know? But how do we keep them from not happening?
Make sure we have new safe equipment.
Right, in service on the equipment.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the in-service that was happening before school last year
Yes, ma'am.
potentially was possibly helpful, you know, just it
Exactly.
needs to be, people need to be reminded. They need to be reminded about dress code. They need to be reminded about, you know, not wearing flip-flops in school. You know, we don't let our kids do it. I don't think the teachers should do it.
Well,
So,
just certain things to, you know, let's keep from not, you know, if we need a box cutter, a certain thing, you know.
Exactly, let's make sure the equipment is,
Exactly, because that's what we
Safe.
have at work. I'm sure you have that at your work. You know, let's just do something to keep our people safe.
and maybe we need to
And have a
educate
safe
everyone
environment.
on this as well.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's all I have to say. It's a hot subject for me, so. As you can tell.
Well, we have
you're in insurance.
this this good faith relationship with Liberty Mutual right now. We just had the area risk loss manager came down and performed a site survey, a site visit, and came to the schools and looked at the playground and looked at our equipment, looked in the kitchens, looked, you know, everywhere in the building to determine what areas we should be focusing in on that are hazardous areas that, you know, either things that we can do to make them more safe or things that we can do to just make the environment and make people aware of the environment that these are hazards or we need to be careful here and those kind of things. So as soon as that report comes out, we'll have something a little more concrete to say these are the things that we're implementing and we're doing, you know, check, 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 check. So there will be things that obviously are going to be, you know, high dollar amounts, and there are going to be little bitty things that we can all do just to make sure that we're, you know, we're being safe in the job, performing our jobs. So we are moving that
Which
forward.
is something that's separate from our life safety stuff that we have, right?
This, I don't know. Yeah, there are things. There may be
That's
things.
gonna be a recommendation from risk control
Yeah.
versus life safety, so they could
Right.
cross over, but it could be something that's separate.
That could be. I'm not sure how that'll fall together. We'll have to see what the list entails, and then we can cross-check and see. Yeah.
Well, and like you said though, if you add up all the little bitty things that would be easy and simple to do, those add up quick and they can make a significant change versus, you know, I mean, I realize big things are important too, but when you get the little things, why not, right?
That's right. Thank you for telling us on that risk control site visit. I believe we'd all agree that with your training at the beginning of the year and your site visit that you brought in, we are taking measures to bring it down. Incentives, Mrs. Reagan, might be something that you can bring that up, a committee of the whole, of what you might be looking at.
Farmer Creek has that, they have.
Hard work,
you
just
how
like,
many
you know,
days.
right, how many
lost
days
free
work
or
free,
something.
then.
Right.
We do that on my unit. We have a big
Exactly.
poster with numbers, how many days where you fall free, or workers without injury. We have a big poster in it.
Exactly, you know, and they have committees and services all the time to help you stay safe.
Mhm.
But you know, if they're injured, they're injured, but still, you know. Anyway, all right.
All right, we finished our communications. I haven't heard anything from you. Nothing to offer at this time. Okay. Let's have roll call, please.
Linda Bailey.
Aye.
Pam Grider.
Aye.
Brenda Cagle.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Julie True.
Hi.
Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Moving on to G4. We need a motion, please.
Make the motion to approve the prevailing wage resolution 14-03 as presented.
A second.
Was that Mrs. Reagan?
This is done annually, and we're sent this publication adopting the prevailing wage rates that the district will ask any contractor who is engaged in construction projects with the school district. They will be hold themselves accountable to the prevailing wage rates. This is this annual, and you can see that they provided some information as to the types of individuals that are covered in the prevailing wage rates. So, and some definitions of the types of classifications that are there listed. But it's an annual process, and this is presented for adoption by the board.
Any further comments? Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey.
Aye.
Pam Grider.
Aye.
Brenda Cagle.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Julie True.
Aye.
Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. G5, motion, please.
Make a motion to accept the fresh bakery supplier bid from Kimbo Bakeries for the 2014-2015 school year.
Now,
No, we don't have bids.
they are right here, I have asked for them. If you would like to look at them as well, they are in here.
Sure.
No
problem.
Did it differ from last year?
They went up.
Yes.
Everything's gone up.
The milk bid has went up quite a bit.
Same company.
There was two milk bids, and the one I think she picked is much better than the one. One was from Prairie Farms, and then the other was Better Beverages. Better Beverages was a better bid. I think like, the prices were like 20%. So it's went up, but everything has. The bakery bid, I only see one bid in here, for the Mimo bakeries, and it is, $1.46 or something like that, lower, yeah. In my opinion, but it's not the choices, it's a bit, it's a good.
Right, because in Ms. Davis, in her letter, bid summary, she does indicate that this was the only local distributor that she's been able to obtain a fresh bakery product bid. You've been receiving these fresh bread products from them for this school year. and ever since Interstate Brand Services discontinued. So when we're looking for fresh bakery products, that was the only local bidder around. So that was the criteria, was the freshness, rather than days, upon end. So that's the only one you'd be able to get.
You could put those in the packet next year, that'd be appreciated, just so that we can get an idea of what we're paying the bids, if you don't mind.
I can certainly do that.
We're not have them. Is an up bid for 1% milk, 2% milk?
Well, we're not there yet. Let's stay on the bread. Okay. So if we're done with the bread,
All right, did you want to second this or what? You want to second it yet? Yes. Okay.
did we add a anything in there? No.
It's here.
Okay, we didn't add it. Okay. Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner?
No.
Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Julie True?
Aye.
Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. G6 motion.
Make a motion to accept the dairy supplier bid from Better Beverage for the 2014-2015 school year.
Well, you don't put a dollar amount on it because it is a continuing or ongoing type of ordering system.
Okay.
So we don't buy milk for $5,000 a year.
I'll second.
I do like that they have agreed to provide the straws at no additional cost. And I know I'm a prairie farm person, I love their milk, but they do run much higher, so I can understand why this company came in lower. But for them to even bring in the straws, that's a good savings for us, I'm sure.
No, usually it's cost.
We've gotten lucky over the last few years that they
Yeah,
have
we've
provided
always
straws.
All this kind of straws are provided.
Yeah.
They've been, yeah,
Good.
they've been providing them for the last few years.
But you can have a
From the
fixed
same
bid
company.
or, this is an escalating, de-escalating bid, so. It's a package.
Which means you're going to pay for what you use rather than a flat amount that you're paying as a contractor.
So is this 1% milk?
They have some. They are skim half like this.
1%.
Skim and 1%.
Okay, are the students getting chocolate milk?
Yeah, chocolate and strawberry are both on there.
It's always the issue.
It's a big issue. So.
They want to drink chocolate milk. Get them to drink
Better than no milk.
better than.
Who was the second on that one?
I am.
Thank you. Go ahead. Yes, could we have the air on for just a few minutes again?
Kind of, yeah.
Melting behind the scenes, and I'm sure they are even more so. We're trying. We have little voices. Okay. Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan? Aye. Julie True?
Aye.
Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
We need a motion, please, for G7.
I make a motion to accept the food supplier bid from Kohl's Wholesale for the 2014-2015 school year.
Second.
Board comment? In our letter, she has sent out a number of bids. receiving back 2, 3, 4 of them. The other vendors did not send anything back, so she did a lot of due diligence. 4 did not send.
Who was the supplier last year? Was it Kohl's?
Yes, ma'am.
I think it was last year, it was switched to Fox River.
That's what I was gonna say, I thought before. Okay.
It was either last year or the year before.
That was last year, yes.
So this was done by sealed bids. That's what I read in your letter. Does anybody else want to look at the bids before we vote?
Copy the bid awards and file bid awards in grocery order form, send bids, food bids to 8 different performers, vendors, and available from the vendor.
And she does state that she researched the quality and the quantity of the cheaper price from all of the vendors she received. So very good, she's done her due diligence for the board. Further comments? Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Dan Greiger?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Julie True?
Aye.
Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
G8 motion, please.
Make a motion to approve the recommendations from the superintendent to increase the substitute teacher daily wage rate to $80 per day.
Second.
And Mr. Aldridge, would you talk to this, please?
I want to raise the rate of the substitute teacher's pay from $75 a day to $80 a day. One of the reasons we need to do that is because all the other school districts around us pay more. We have 3 people on our substitute list. We cannot get substitute teachers. It is a hardship for the school district. It is my hope that by raising the pay for the substitute teachers, we can attract more qualified individuals to work for us. So it's just been tough. You ask your teachers. They'll tell you it's been hard trying to get substitutes, trying to have substitutes, internal substitutions, teachers taking turns to cover each other. All right? It's not because Mr. Aldridge wants to sit in the back or sit in his office and say, well, I don't think Ms. Monholtz needs a substitute. I don't do that. But if we don't have anyone who will come in and work, it's hard to get someone. We make the calls, and it's just a tough time getting substitutes to come in. And I don't know if raising the rate's going to do much for us. I hope so, but you know, that's the only thing that right now is a practical matter can really help us. So other school districts around are at least $80, if not more. You know, we can't pay what District 150 pays, but we need to come up and not be the lowest amount for our substitute teachers. So that's
So
that's the reason.
comparatively speaking, let's say to schools similar to us, is that pretty close to what they're doing, or lower than what they're doing?
Ms. Strong, you've got the most
I'm
intimate
not
knowledge.
talking District 150, you know, we
Yeah.
can't
Right.
compare.
150 is very high. Seaco pays $90.
I don't know who's Seaco.
Morton pays $50. I mean $85.
I was gonna say, wow.
$85. And so
It's $85 for East Peoria grade. I don't know what the high school is. I didn't bother comparing to them. Marquette, North Beacon, Marquette Heights, is $80. I believe that's what Robine is that correct, Ms. Strong? I don't remember. No, they're 75? Okay.
But they're little, they're smaller than we are.
Okay. So, most of the...
But like Market Heights and, you know, like there's the closer ones that are comparable.
Yes,
Even
ma'am.
would be higher. Washington, I believe, is possibly higher than 80. I would question if you're wanting to draw that $5 increase, how many boards are increasing theirs? So, because they're
So that was
all
last year.
begging, yeah, they're
Last
all
year.
begging for help.
Well, $80
It's a different
today is
year.
not a lot. For substitute teachers. Pardon?
Well, if you do a 6-hour day.
No, it's not a 6-hour day. It's about a 7.5 hour. The paid time with an unpaid lunch. Most of the schools are bringing you in about 7:45 and you get to leave at 3:15.
Judy, I can't hear you.
Student contact hours is 7.0, right? Ms. Bonholt?
So it's 70.
7 hours. 7 hours contact time.
So it's not much.
How does this affect our permanent sub? Because he's already making 80, so as a permanent sub, do we raise that rate automatically or?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
That's just a suggestion, ladies. I mean, if you believe that it would be better to offer more money to get a qualified pool of applicants, I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, how much was that? Wage
It's $10. That'd be $10 more per day per substitute, and what's that going to equate to? Probably somewhere between $35,000 and $4,000 a year.
Does this have to be done tonight, or can we wait for the tentative budget?
You can wait. This is just a recommendation that was brought tonight. That's all. Sure, you can table this.
Depending on how the tentative budget comes out, if we could afford more, we may have to get subs.
Yeah,
But I don't want to commit us tonight and then find out that we can't work it in the budget.
All right, so we need to table this, is what I'm hearing.
Or we could approve the 80, and if we find we have the extra money,
we could always approve
Up it.
85. Yeah, I mean, we could approve it again, I guess.
Okay, so let's go with roll call on $80. Motion as stated.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Greger?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan? Aye. Julie Drew?
Aye.
Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
G9, motion please.
I make a motion to approve the 2014-2015 Board of Education meeting schedule as presented or revised,
Whoops.
circle 1.
Nope, you
What are
don't.
we doing? Sorry.
You do not, because I didn't hand it out.
Sorry.
All right, so we'll wait on that motion for just a moment. This is Kate.
Right. The only thing well, there isn't anything different. It's just, this is your first and third Tuesday adjustment for the 14-15 school year. So it's just moving the days of your meetings according to the calendar. Nothing different. Meetings will be held at LaSalle School. The alternative location for the meeting is Parkview Middle School. Any changes in locations will be noted in the posted meeting agendas. They're generally held on the first and third Tuesdays of the month. Change in meeting date is due to a holiday if there's an asterisk near those dates. So January and April are the 2 months where your meetings conflict with a holiday, so that's why they were moved. So it's just a matter of calendaring. But the reason I wanted to bring this to the board's attention is we adopt this for public release. You set your meetings, annual meeting schedule. And last year, you made a change of the meeting day of the week. So I didn't want to presume that you were staying with the same first and third Tuesdays of the month. So if there is a need for a change or discussion for change, we would just make those changes accordingly and make them in as in relationship with the calendar. So that's why it's here tonight.
Are we all pretty well set on first and third? We're kind of used to it.
I think the only person that has a conflict is.
I didn't like the change last year, so it really affects my schedule a lot to have a middle of Tuesday, but whatever, it's fine. I've learned to deal with it, so it's fine.
That's why I brought it. I mean,
My schedule,
I want
it is what it is, it's fine.
just to have consideration of it, for everyone. That's why I brought it up. So.
Becky has an issue with Tuesdays, if it's fine.
She does.
Can you guys redo the motion?
On the January one, first and third, the text on that one, you've got it down.
January 13th is because of the change there, and the 27th. Okay.
The 13th.
Indicates a meeting date due to a holiday.
I just don't see a holiday there, that's what I know.
January 13th.
The meeting would be during the holiday break, so he's moved it back to.
Really? We're not back
The
by?
first Tuesday.
No.
Oh,
That's the new date.
yes,
The original date would have been during the holiday.
got it. Okay. Mean the 6th. Right, okay, got it. Okay, motion, please.
All right. Make a motion to approve the 2014-2015 Board of Education meeting schedule as presented.
Second. Who are we going with on that?
Right.
Mrs. Greiner. Thank you. Roll call.
Linda Bailey.
Aye.
Pam Griner.
Aye.
Brenda Cagle.
Aye.
Val Reagan. Julie Drew.
Aye.
Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Moving on to board communications, school board election procedures. Lots of changes there. Thank you for bringing those to us. Turn it back to you.
Really, this is just information for the Board of Education and those that in the public who may decide to want to be a candidate for the school board in 2015 election. There's information here in the board packet. You can get this information also from the county clerk, and also we will be posting it on our website. All right, so that information will be on the website, and you'll be able to look at that and determine where you need to file and to get the paperwork and all of those things. So just some changes from years in the past. So I just want to make everybody aware of those changes that are coming forward. So nothing to act on.
Takes a lot of financial responsibility off the board that we participated in the last election, so that's good news. All right, any other comments? At this time is our public participation. A lot of you are possibly new. This is the time that we ask you to engage one at a time. You'll stand and cite your name and your address, And you have 5 minutes, and depending on how many, we might even have to limit how many we can take tonight. So, having said that, if you are coming and you want to public participation, we'll begin now.
What I want to do is, if you're wanting to speak before the board, I'd ask that you come up to the front so that you're near the camera. You don't have to be on the camera, but near the camera so that we get the audio, okay? Rather than trying to yell from the back row.
Plus, we just have just as much hard time hearing you guys as you hear for us, so.
And maybe what we'll do, why don't you come up and form?
Let's form a line
and,
next to the camera.
cameras.
Yep, sorry.
Thank you.
See if I can stop and not fall over here. All right. First of all, I think you have a bigger crowd than normal tonight. So I wanted to let you know
Your
that.
name, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Figured you all know me. Catherine Sponholz, 779 Pierce Morton, teacher here at Parkview. The teachers are here tonight to show their support for the custodial staff. We do appreciate the work that our custodians do to keep our buildings clean and to keep our children and our belongings safe. As a part of this community, we know that we can trust them to care for our children as much as we do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Patty Smolberger, support staff president. I also live at 421 Groveland Avenue. I'm just here to thank you guys for allowing me and Kim to go into closed door session, and I really hope you do the right thing.
Thank you.
Tammy Bowers, 615 Dempsey Street. I want to say thank you for returning the LaSalle Parent Club funds and for your approval on what we chose to spend it on. I also want to say a special thank you to the 3 board members who did all the work on this. We really appreciated this.
Randy Giddens, 821 South Creve Coeur Avenue. I also would like to thank the board for item G1 in closing the 2011-2012 chapter and allowing the parents to have input on how their funds will be spent. I really do appreciate that. I also would like to thank the parents and the staff that worked with the Parents Club at LaSalle, Homewood, and Parkview. I think y'all done an outstanding job. It's an important part of education. It allowed the parents to become more involved. Some parents were lucky enough to volunteer more than others. Some staff had the time. I know some of you tried to raise your families, plus pitch in and help the children of Creve Coeur. And me being a resident for 35 years, I really do appreciate it. My kids grew up through the Creve Coeur district. A couple months ago, I was lucky enough to purchase a book written by Mrs. Vivian Higdon, a resident of Creve Coeur. She had a section in there that talked about all the different schools through the years in the village of Creve Coeur. And more recently, she had pictures, I believe, of the LaSalle Parents Club from back in the 70s. She also mentioned that Parkview Parents Club was successfully capable of raising profit and giving the school district $50,000 every year. This district needed it. I was on the board at the beginning of that. And Mr. Bachler was there volunteering every week. Some of the board members were there volunteering. So I just appreciate what all the parents have done. And I do want to thank them for all their hard work, this staff, and the individual board members. Thank you.
My name is Karen Hoheimer, 2111 Marigold Drive, Pekin. I am Julie McCardle's sister. I'm here to tell you that you're losing a tremendous educator, and I'm sorry that she's going. Her wisdom is gone. You've made choices. You're going to have to live with those choices, but I just want you to know that you lost a tremendous educator who is here for the children, holding people accountable. Sadly, other people aren't being held accountable. I think you would all benefit by coming to a Pekin High School school board meeting where I'm the vice president of the union, of the board, and I can tell you, you don't vote on a consent agenda before you allow people to speak on them. Thank you.
Just for the record, we had a resignation. We did not ask her to leave. At this time, we'll ask for a motion for executive session.
I make the motion to enter into closed session for appointment, employment, performance, and termination of personnel, semi-annual review of closed meeting minutes, collective negotiation matters between the public body and the school service personnel, association litigation against, affecting, or on behalf of the public body, and discussion regarding superintendent's employment.
Second. That was a second by Mrs. Cagle. Roll call, please. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Garnier.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner? Aye. Brenda Cagle? Aye. Val Reagan? Aye. Julie Drew? Aye. Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Can we please take a
Yes.
10-minute break?
And we'll take a 10-minute break. So 7:27, let's say 7:30. We need a motion to return to regular session at 9:45.
Make a motion to return to regular session.
Second.
Mrs. Bailey seconded it. Mrs. Reagan moved the motion. Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner? Aye. Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Julie Drew?
Aye.
Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
We need a motion, please, for L1.
I make a motion to accept the letter of retirement from Parkview custodian Wanda Altman effective August 29, 2014 with regrets.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner? Aye. Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Julie Drew?
Aye.
Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
We need another motion for a resignation also.
Retirement. I make a motion to accept the letter of retirement from educational assistant Rosalie Hageman effective June 4, 2014 with regrets.
Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Julie Drew?
Aye.
Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. L2 brings a motion, please.
Make a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation to enter into a one-year employment contract with Mr. Brad Jokish as principal for the 2014-2015 school year in the salary amount of $70,000.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Bailey. Roll call.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner?
No.
Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
No.
Julie Drew?
Aye.
Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. We need another motion, please, for a one-year employment contract.
I make a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation to enter into a one-year employment contract with Ms. Deborah Mueller as a special education coordinator for the 2014-2015 school year in the salary amount of $51,500.
Thank you. A second, please.
I second.
Thank you. Mrs. Troop seconded it, and roll call. Oh, is there any discussion first?
Linda Bailey.
Aye.
Pam Griner.
No.
Brenda Cagle.
Yes.
Al Reagan.
No.
Julie True.
Aye.
Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We now need a motion for closed session minutes, please.
Make the motion to retain the meetings from special meeting 12/17 of 2013, January 28th, 14, March 18th, 2014, April 15th, 2014, May 6th, 2014, and special meeting of June 3rd, 2014. A second.
What's the January date again? I'm sorry. I missed the January date.
January 28th.
28th, thank you.
What was the March one?
March 18th.
Thank you.
I'll give you my list copy.
Okay.
Great.
All right, a second, please.
That is a second.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Roll call and discussion. Now roll call.
Linda Bailey.
Aye.
Pam Griner.
Aye.
Brenda Cagle.
Aye.
Al Reagan. Julie True.
Aye.
Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Make a motion to release the minutes of the February 18th, 2014, May 14th of 2014, the special meeting of May 20th, 2014, and the regular meeting of May 23rd, 2014. I second.
Mrs. Ryder made a motion. Mrs. Cagle seconded it. Is there any communications yet to bring forth?
Wait. Was it May 23rd? Regular meeting?
Yes, that was, the only special meeting was May 14th.
May
May 20th and May 23rd.
23rd is a special meeting?
Yes, you said it was a special meeting.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure.
You told us that.
I thought it was regular, I'm sorry. Hard to hear in here.
Speak up.
All righty. Communications. Roll call.
Discussion.
All right. So we'll have roll call, please.
Linda Bailey.
Aye.
Pam Griner. Brenda Cagle. Al Reagan. Julie True. Judy Strong.
Yes. Okay, let's go with a motion to adjourn, please.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. That will be at 9:53. And roll call, please.
Linda Bailey. Pam Griner. Brenda Cagle. Al Reagan. Julie True.